Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Nashville Superspeedway. We are here to qualify for the 17th race of the season in the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. This is going to be the Cracker Barrel 400 tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. Not to be confused with the Cracker Barrel 400 that will be taking place 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. But we had it first. We were the Cracker Barrel 400 before they were. And Cup Series has been coming to a Nashville Superspeedway longer for us than they have in real life as well. So we've been using this racetrack a lot longer. And actually has been on the schedule for every Cup Series season that we've had. Didn't get run in Season 10 back in the day, but hey, here we are for our 17th race of the season. 6 races remain until the chase cutoff. We're here for Uncharted qualifying. And of course, it is going to be very interesting to see how these next 6 races play out. And see who ends up making the chase here in the Wawa Cup Series for 2025. Looking good for Ladovic, Charette, Travis Crampton. Everybody else a little bit tighter than they'd like. Though Logan Williams, Laura Chung both have over 40 points on the cutoff. It's going to be very fascinating to see what those drivers can do. Of course, Logan Williams won this race 2 years ago here at the Nashville Superspeedway. So we'll see if that ends up being the case for him this year. Only 3 hot seats in the field and not 4. Echo Evans Ross did not sign a driver for the 91 in time, so the 91 will not attempt this race. We got the number 14, that is Skep Silver for Grattan Autosport. Also got the number 90 machine of Keegan Thompson, and the 42 is Anthony Hernandez. And of course, one of those 3 is guaranteed to make the race. The top 6 drivers, top 5 drivers, I should say, automatically qualify, and the highest hot seat driver, if the highest hot seat driver is already in the top 5, then the 6th place driver will qualify their way in. St. Davidson right now the fastest driver. This is a slower racetrack, even though it is shorter than Charlotte. It is a slower racetrack than the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Not near as much banking into the corners, a very flat racetrack, and that makes this place rather difficult to make a pass, and going to make a very interesting race. Qualifying is going to be very big today for who ends up getting the race win tomorrow. Of course, 75 laps here at Nashville Superspeedway, 1 1/3 miles in length. And you know what? Today could very well determine who gets that race victory, so we'll see who ends up getting the pole once we get down to it in just about a half an hour. Skep Silver's fastest. How about that? Driver who doesn't have any driver ratings. And then get another one right there, the number 90 of Keegan Thompson. Great run for Keegan Thompson right there. How about Carson Miller? He's missed the past couple of races here in the Wawa Cup Series. But he's up top with the fastest time, 36.97. Very quick time there for Carson Miller. So right now it's Carson Miller, Keegan Thompson, Carson Miller, Skep Silver, Keegan Thompson, St. Davidson. And you have the 45 of Eric Monaco. Would like to send our condolences to his and his family. His father passed away the other day, and I want to send our condolences to his family with that. And, you know, one thing I always like to mention, you know, this is a simulated computer game, and, you know, we're just having fun, but we're all still real people behind the names, and just want to send our condolences to his family with all that's going on there. Currently has that thing in the 5th position. All 3 of the hot seat drivers currently in the top 6 right now. That means that all 3 would advance on. You got Carson Miller, Darian Arnsdorf, Keegan Thompson, it's Skep Silver in the 14, not Keegan Thompson. Anthony Hernandez, Eric Monaco, and Keegan Thompson holding on to the last spot right now. St. Davidson just on the outside looking in, off by 3/1000ths of a second. How important each lap time is. Hey, we got qualifying today. We also got the IndyCar Series coming up from Nashville later today as well, coming off of that great Indianapolis 250 that we had on Saturday. And once again, congratulations to Brendan Wilmington on that race victory. Going to be a fun one for the Tootsies Music City Grand Prix. I think that's what he's calling it. Or Music City 100, one of the two. I haven't really thought about what it's going to be. But you're going to see that later on the night. We're excited for it here from the Nashville Superspeedway. This is a very fun racetrack, and we've been coming here since Season 1 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series all the way back in 2015. This is a staple racetrack. You got J.R. Ribbleton there in the top 5, looking to advance his way on for the first time in quite some time. And you also got Darian Arnsdorf in there as well. Carson Miller looks to be solidly in the show. And that would knock Keegan Thompson out. But the 42 of Anthony Hernandez would still, in fact, make it in. That would be both of the Racing Motorsports cars for Aaron Abel's team, the way they currently run. And it looks like, once again, Johnson Jameson will fail to qualify. He's almost, yeah. Just going to pretend we didn't see that. Does not look like Jared Martin will advance on, or Zayden Davidson. That's a big one. Zayden's still the highest in the points of the uncharted drivers at this point, but that is not going to help his case out in that regard at all. Darian Arnsdorf's going to have a very good chance at actually surpassing him in the championship standings once this is said and done. Carson Miller, Darian Arnsdorf, Eric Monaco, Skep Silver, J.R. Ribbleton, Anthony Hernandez, the top 6 who advance on. Keegan Thompson, Zane Davidson, Jared Martin, Haley Anderson Jr., Aaron Luke, Stillen Matthews, and Johnson Jameson failed to qualify. Let's move on to Group A here from the Nashville Superspeedway. And here we go for Group A from the Nashville Superspeedway. And we got ourselves, I saw only uncharted drivers for a second there, and I'm like, oh, did I choose the wrong set? No, I did not. Carson Miller and J.R. Ribbleton, they did all, in fact, make it into Group A. They were odd numbered just a moment ago in uncharted qualifying. And Carson Miller first one out there. Yeah, Nathan Smith, Thomas Troxel in this one. Here's Logan Williams, who won this race 2 years ago, sits third in the championship standings, and currently has a 44-point gap ahead of the cutoff right now. Tanner Parton is actually just below it, as Jack has moved his way in via his win at Phoenix earlier this season. He holds that tiebreaker on Tanner Parton, so he's got the last spot as of right now. Only 6 races remain. This was the Chase cutoff race in 23, and the opening race to the Chase last year. It's a regular season race a bit earlier in the season here. And nonetheless, these drivers are still very excited for this one, especially the ones that tend to run very well in the series. This track favors the best drivers, and it's going to be a difficult place to make moves and make passes tomorrow. And I think it's going to play a huge effect in the championship as well. And drivers like Ladovic, Charette, Travis Crampton, we expect them to run well here. We'll see how well they do, in fact, run. There is Ladovic Charette, our points leader. Overtook Travis Crampton 2 races ago at North Wilkesboro. Crampton's fallen off just a little bit. He's now only 20 points behind Ladovic. Ladovic, the only driver above 500 points at this point in the season. She has had an excellent season, though she is still yet to go to victory lane in anything on the channel yet this year, which is hard to believe. I mean, just look at Alexander Rowe and how many wins he has in the Sprint Series and the Light Series. He swept the fairgrounds this week. I should have gotten the info from Caleb before I recorded the race last night, so I would have had something to talk about right there. Yeah, J.R. Ribbleton, who's fastest right now in the 82. How about that? Such a guy who has not made too many starts this season. Has only qualified for 3 races up to this point, but he has a total of 80 points. He's actually done pretty good in the races he has run in. He's currently in the 2nd position here in Group A, so we'll see if he can hold on to that there. Nathan Smith right now has the fastest time in the 06 machine. And definitely a bit of a different qualifying session at this moment. A lot of drivers we do not tend to see run up front, or have not seen run up front too much this season, having good runs here in this qualifying. But then there's Daniel Paulus Jr. going to the top of the board in the 54 machine, our defending race winner. Got the win last Friday night in the Coke 600 in dominating fashion. And if you're the field, you definitely got to watch out for Daniel Paulus Jr. Ladovic Charette just went out and tied Paulus and his time. So Ladovic and Paulus right now both inside the Fast 6. Looking to go for the pole, but there goes Logan Williams to the top of the board. And he got a nice hefty push there from Daniel Paulus Jr. to put himself in that position. Hey, Logan's been knock on wood. I jinxed his brother so hard in the Light Series. Logan's had a good run as of late. Ladovic goes back to the top. But this is a racetrack where Logan has won before. This is a type of racetrack that Logan does well at. And our next race is Gateway, which is the other racetrack, another racetrack he hasn't won at before. He tends to win in these like racetracks in between a mile and a half in length. All three of his wins have come mile and a quarter, mile and a third long racetracks, because he also won at Darlington in 2023 as well. It's looking like it's going to be Paulus, Williams, and Ladovic with the fastest time in the 51. Getting a bit of a pull there off the 6 of Isaac Nichols. Got Thomas Troxel in 4th, winner from Texas about a month ago. Actually, earlier in the month. That race was still run in May. It feels like it should be June right now. It is not June. This race going up in May 31st. Feels like it should be June, but actually, well, I mean, I say that, and it's literally like 50 degrees outside in late May, which for around here, that is quite chilly. Isaac Nichols up to 4th. That would be a 7th place start for Isaac, who has essentially stayed top 10 in the points all season. He's actually done an excellent job being very consistent and keeping himself in a decent position. He's now 22 points ahead of Jack Haas, Tanner Parton, that cutoff line right there. Leonard Kochmer, that's a great run for him on the 41 machine. And he is sitting in the 6th position. That'll be a 13th place start for Kochmer. No, I'm sorry about that. That would have been an 11th place start, but now he is in the 14th position. Tanner Parton, this is a guy who's right on the cutoff line, and this is going to be a huge deal if he can turn this into a good run tomorrow, because he's right now in that 4th position. That is 7th place to start. And Tanner Parton there, tied with Jack Haas at the cutoff. He had a great start to the season. Past few races have not gone well for Tanner Parton in this 97 machine. And I know he'd love to make the chase, and he actually had a shot at making the chase 2 years ago at this very racetrack. Got taken out in that one and did not make the chase in 2023. But 3 drivers who I think are going to have a pretty good shot at making the chase this year: Ladovic Charette, Daniel Paulus Jr., Logan Williams. They make the Fast 6. Tanner Parton will start 7th. Isaac Nichols will start 9th. Thomas Troxel will start 11th. Leonard Kochman will start 13th. Nathan Smith will start 15th. Matthew Hubert will start 17th. Avery Alford will start 19th. Nicholas Sambidio will start 21st. J.R. Ribbleton will start 23rd. Eric Monaco will start 25th. Carson Miller will start 27th. Kirsten Bell starting 29th. That is not a good place for the driver. 5th in points. Brian Webb will start 31st. Philip Torres will start 33rd. Braden Perez will start 35th. Rogaldorn will start 37th, excuse me. He won this race last year. Zachary Fitzwater will start 39th, and Justin Zeidel will start 41st. Let's get on to Group B here from Nashville. And here we go for Group B from the Nashville Superspeedway. And we got Ladovic Charette, Daniel Paulus Jr., Logan Williams, who made it on to the Fast 6 there in Group A. Now it's on to Group B. And this is where we will find Travis Crampton, Jack Haas, who is currently the last driver in the chase right now in that number 39 machine. Andrew Miller also in the mix for the wild card, so is Blaine. Well, Blaine Keith hasn't won yet. He's not in the mix for the wild card, but he's in the mix to make it into the chase, and he is 8 points behind the cutoff coming into this one, with only 6 races left to go. Keep in mind, he won 6 races last year. Nearly won the championship. It has not been the case for him near as much this year. And we also got Laura Chung here, Duncan Ward, who have had pretty solid seasons. Both have a race victory. Both have run up front. Laura Chung actually was runner-up last week in the Coke 600. Alright, who was first? I didn't even pay attention to see who was first. I think it might be Bartow in the number 4 machine, who he's 18th in the standings. Has not been as good of a season for Trey as it was last year. And there's some rumors. There's some rumors swirling around that he might end up at a different team next year. Everyone wants him to join Joe Rutt's team, but we'll see what Joe does with Bernardo and with Laura Chung. Especially Laura's done an excellent job, and Bernardo has had some pace as of late. He hasn't really been able to translate that pace to anything good. But he's had some pace as of late. We'll see. We'll see how Silly Season ends up shaking out. I think Silly Season's going to be a lot of fun this year, as it always is, of course. We do know that there are a couple teams that will not be returning, one of them being the team that Jesse Turner and Rogaldorn drive for. Those are two free agents that are going to have an opportunity to go elsewhere and improve on what they had from this year, which, let's put it this way, nearly anyone can improve on what they've had this year. I do like to apologize to Derek, and I don't think he's really watching, but, you know, it's all part of the shtick. All part of the shtick and the lore of the Wawa Cup Series. And like I said earlier, you know, even though we are just running simulated cards in a video game, we are still real people behind these names, and want to treat it as such in certain situations. Hey, Barta's got the fastest time. Miller's got a good shot. This is a weaker group right here compared to what we just saw. That's going to benefit guys like Andrew Miller, Lord Chung, and their attempts to make it into that fast six and then have a good starting position. But there's not as much depth going through. A lot of the stronger drivers, a lot of the drivers who have wins this season have found themselves in that first group, and then the guys who maybe aren't as keen on going into the season find themselves in this one. That does not include everybody, of course. You know, you got Blaine Keys in this group, but Blaine has been a little bit less of what we would have expected from him coming up to this point in the season. You got Andrew Miller, you got Jack Cons, and you got Bernardo de Oliveira right now in those positions. I think Andrew Miller just posted the fastest time. He did. 4.97. 986 machine. That is a blisteringly fast time for Andrew Miller. And even though this racetrack's a 1 1/3, it is still get a bit of a pull on the air there with the draft. I do apologize for cutting out there. I am still recovering from a cold. I mentioned that last night. I literally had a cold when I was out in Indy for the 500, and you know, I'm on the other side of it right now. I'm generally fine, but my voice, it ain't quite back yet. With that, I think we're gonna have ourselves a special presentation tomorrow with the Wawa Cup Series, so just stay tuned for that. Yeah, Miller, de Oliveira, and Jack Oz, the top three looking to make it on. How about Skip Silver in fourth? That'd be an 8th place start. And then you also got Jack Oz getting bumped out by Laura Chung in the 20. How about both the Rut cars in the Fast 6 here for this one? Both Bernardo and Laura Chung in the 20 machine. Laura and Logan Williams, they're very similar, I think, with how their seasons have gone. They have shown moments where things haven't gone too well, but then Laura, who struggled to even crack the top 30 through the midway part of the Coke 600 last week, managed to find herself in second, partly based on the pit strategy, but she almost had a shot there on Paulus to win the race. Didn't quite have enough. She's always historically run really well at Charlotte, too. She actually was 3rd last year in the Coke 600. And it looks like she's going to have good opportunity for a good starting position in Nashville. Blaine Keys looking to start 8th. We'll see how that ends up shaking out for him there. And then Jack Haas looking to start 10th. And you'll see at the 14 machine, Skip Silver, Darian Arsworth, Andrew Webb. All the Grattan cars there in the session, 6th through 8th. That's pretty good starting positions for them. Travis Crampton, this is a guy who I'm a little concerned about at this point, and we'll have to see how this ends up shaking out as the rest of the season. I think he's going to make the chase, but he has not had the pace lately. 18th for Travis. That's where he's going to start tomorrow. So it's Andrew Miller, Bernardo de Oliveira, and Laura Chung in the Fast 6. Blaine Keys will start 8th. Jack Haas will start 10th. Skep Silver will start 12th. Darian Arnsdorf will start 14th. Drew Webb will start 16th. Travis Crampton will start 18th. Duncan Ward will start 20th. Not a good starting spot for Duncan Ward either. That's a little bit lower than what we expected out of him. A guy who's won 3 poles this season. Trey Bartow will start 22nd. LJ Sameta will start 24th. Bryce Egan will start 26th. Brad Stover will start 28th. Alex Sanavitali will start 30th. Christian Master will start 32nd. Anthony Hernandez will start 34th. Angel Gutierrez will start 36th. Roberto Crown Jr. will start 38th. Bruno Diacomo will start 40th. Jesse Turner will start in the last position. I feel like that's been like every race that Jesse Turner has been starting last. He's last in points. That's just not been good for the first ever winner. We got to fix that. Andrew Miller, Bernardo de Oliveira, Laura Chung. They join Ludovic Charette, excuse me. Daniel Paulus. Who was the other driver? Logan Williams in the Fast 6. Let's see what they do in the Fast 6 here from the Nashville Superspeedway. And here we go. Laura Chung, first driver out here in the Fast 6 from Nashville. And fourth in points. It's been a great season for Laura. And she's looking to make the chase for the first time in her career. Keep in mind, this is a driver who has been in every season, every race of the Wawa Cup Series, and finally got her first win at Bristol earlier this season. This has easily been her best season up to this point. Her, Andrew Miller, Tanner Parton, kind of all in that same boat, trying to make the chase for the first times in their careers. Across the line there, I didn't check the miles per hour, but the corner speed, especially on a track such as this, going to mean quite a bit. Going to minimize at 131. This is a much slower racetrack than the Charlotte Motor Speedway, much more technical than what we saw last week at Charlotte, though Charlotte is still a very technical racetrack. But how much speed do you want to carry through versus how far into the corner do you want to go is the big question here in these single car runs, and Laura Chung is going to set the benchmark here. Going to go 31.107 for Laura Chung and Runt Racing. Logan Williams next in line in the number 95. This is another driver who's been in the Wawa Cup Series for 3 years and has never made the chase, though he has gone the victory lane 3 times before, including this race 2 years ago. Driving there for Appalachian Motorsports. This has definitely been the better of the 2 Appalachia cars this season. Sam Video has not found near as much speed as he has in years past, and he has definitely suffered from it, unfortunately. But Logan has not. He has actually done a great job. He's third in points and second highest driver in the field without a race victory, only behind Ludovic Charette. That's not a bad driver to be behind. That's the only driver ahead of you in this series. Of course, Logan does have Travis Crampton ahead of him as well in the championship standings, but Logan has been a little bit more consistent as of late compared to the 98 machine, and if things get crazy enough, dare I say it, Logan Williams could actually have a legitimate opportunity at the regular season championship. Does he have an opportunity at this pole position? Has to beat a 31.107 that was set by Laura Chung. I don't think he's going to do it. It's a 2.47 there to Logan Williams. He's still going to have a decent starting position regardless, and we'll have to see what he does tomorrow in the Cracker Barrel 400. And here comes Bernardo de Oliveira in the 0. Of the Fast 6 drivers here, lowest in the points, but he has shown a lot of promise in some races here and there in that 0 machine, and Runt Racing has brought some very fast cars for their drivers, and Bernardo de Oliveira looking to take advantage of the opportunity here from the Nashville Superspeedway. Laura Chung set a 31.107 in a very similar car. And we'll see what the Oliveira can do here in his fast lap. Not quite as fast across the line. Laura Chung carried a lot of speed across the line on her warm-up lap. Bernardo de Oliveira going to minimize 129, just barely right there. So this one's a little bit slower than what Laura had set. Laura might get the pole the way this is looking. We'll have to see if Ludovic or Daniel could do anything. We know that those guys are very fast. Andrew Miller could be a dark horse for the pole here. Good turns 3 and 4 for de Oliveira, but I don't think it's going to quite be enough to make the pole. Across the line 3:18. It'll be the 3rd slowest time so far. But regardless of the fact, still going to be top 6 for de Oliveira starting in tomorrow's Cracker Barrel 400. And Daniel Paulus Jr. coming off the racetrack, or coming off the pit lane right here for his fast lap in the number 54. Of course, last week's winner at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Currently sitting 9th in the championship standings, but he's got about a 20 or so point gap on the cutoff now from that race victory. And his trajectory is only up from here, and we'll see what he can do. Trying to get to Laura Chung. 31.107, that was set by Laura. It's a pretty good speed there through 1 and 2 for the 54 machine. And Paulus and Charette, they're the 2 guys there at, Grand Autosport and then Team Velocitar who have had the most success this season, though Paulus is the only one of those 2 who have gone to victory lane. He's gotten 3 wins, looking for win number 4 already. Keep in mind, the most wins anyone has ever gotten is 6, and Paulus halfway through the season has 3 wins. He's got a good shot at it. He's got a good shot at the pole. 31.033 for Daniel Paulus Jr. That goes to the top of the board here in Cracker Barrel 400 qualifying. And next in line is Andrew Miller in the number 86 for Durrani Racing. Great run for him. He actually held the fastest time in the group sessions, and we'll see if he gets the fastest time here. 31.033. That was just set by Daniel Paulus Jr. here from the Nashville Superspeedway. And we'll see if this 86 machine has that same speed here with his fast lap. Andrew Miller trying to get into the chase one way or another in the fight for the wild card race on virtue of his win at Rockingham. Pretty solid speed right there, though not as quick as what Paulus had just a moment ago. But we'll see how turns 3 and 4 are for the number 86 machine right here. Like I said, you got to make sure you have as much speed as you can through the corners if you're going to have an opportunity at it. Oh, that was really, I think that was pretty good right there. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get Paulus, though. We'll see. Across the line for Andrew Miller. Oh, man, he came close. I thought he had it. 5/1000ths of a second off of Paulus right there. So, one way or another, a GRT car is going to win the pole here for the Cracker Barrel 400. And here we go for Ladovic's red. It's either going to be Ladovic or Paulus winning this pole. Paulus actually going for his first pole of the season. Ladovic going for her 3rd pole of the season. Both have been featured on a thumbnail this year. Ladovic's been featured on a thumbnail like 3 times. We'll see who gets it this time around. You guys have already seen that. I do that after the fact, after we record. Andrew Miller, regardless, is going to be starting top 3. Watch out for Andrew Miller in tomorrow's race. He could have an opportunity at it, but this could finally be the race. Ladovic gets her first win of the season. And pretty good speed right there for Ladovic in turns 1 and 2. That thing really held into the corner very well. We'll see what 3 and 4 are like for the driver of the number 51. Going to minimize, hit 133 for just a split second right there, so a little bit slower. This is going to be close. And it's going to be enough for the pole. Ladovic Shred has won her 3rd pole of the season, 39.12. And she will lead the field to the green flag for tomorrow's Cracker Barrel 400 here from the Nashville Superspeedway. And there you have it. Ladovic Shred once again. There's actually back-to-back poles for Ladovic here in the Wawa Cup Series. And she has found a lot of speed, but has still yet to go to victory lane, even though she's the points leader. Just waiting to finally get that 5th career win in the Wawa Cup Series and break the tie with Daniel Paulus Sr. They actually both have the same number of wins in the Wawa Cup Series over the course of their careers. Ladovic Shred, Daniel Paulus Jr. going to lead us off to the green flag tomorrow. Andrew Miller and Laura Chung will make up row number 2. Logan Williams and Bernardo de Oliveira will make up row number 3. Row number 4 will see Tanner Parton and Blaine Keys. Row 5 will be Isaac Nichols and Jack Haas. Row 6 will be Thomas Troxel and Skep Silver. Row 7 will be Leonard Kochmer, Darian Arnsdorf. Row 8 will be Nathan Smith and Drew Webb. Row 9 will be Matthew Hubert and Travis Crampton. Row 10 will be Avery Alford and Duncan Ward. Row 11 will be Nicholas Samedeo and Trey Bartow. Row 12, J.R. Ribbleton, LJ Semedo. Row 13, Eric Monaco, Bryce Egan. Row 14, Carson Miller, Brad Stover. Row 15, Kirsten Bell, Alex Amintali. Row 16, Brian Webb and Christian Master. Row 17, Philip Torres and Anthony Hernandez. Row 18, Braden Perez, Angel Gutierrez. Row 19, Rogel Dorn, Roberto Crown Jr. Row 20, Zachary Fitzwater, Bruno Diacomo. Row 21, Justin Zeidel, Jesse Turner. Tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, it is the Cracker Barrel 400 here from the Nashville Superspeedway, the beginning of the second half of the season in the Wawa Cup Series. We'll see how it all goes down here for 75 laps around this 1 1/3 mile speedway in Lebanon, Tennessee. Let's go ahead and, wait a little bit, get the IndyCars out here. Haas IndyCar Series later on the night with the Music City 100. Going to be a fun one for the Haas IndyCar Series just after that great Indianapolis 250 here on Nashville Superspeedway. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.